Hello boys and girls, Reverend Stephen here, and today I've got my friends John and Joanna here. Well, actually, her name's Joanna because she's from Poland, but she's happy for me to call her Joanna on this video. Thank you. They're a bit different to you and me. Actually, quite a bit different. They're, well, plastic. We can see straight away that being plastic is not the same as being a human being like we are. Of course, plastic has its advantages. Both John and Joanna have got hands that can grip things really well. Take a look at those hands. Now, and a plastic hand, in theory, is much stronger than a hand made of flesh and bone like ours. What about John? Well, actually, his head at the moment is a bit empty. But he could have a computer put in his brain so he could think quicker than we can, and he could do his maths homework in half the time. Now, here's a question. What if we did that? What if we had a little computer in our head to make us think faster? What if we had a robotic arm put on that was much stronger than our own arm? Well, this man has done pretty much just that. This is Professor Kevin Warwick, who is a robotics engineer at Coventry University. And he has had an operation to put an electronic device in his arm which enables him to operate nearby electrical appliances just by moving his hand. And he can connect with a robot on the other side of the world and control it with his thoughts. How cool is that? But you know what? Why stop there? We could replace various bits of our bodies with robotic arms, legs, etc. to make us stronger and cleverer and give us superhuman powers and abilities. And if we replaced everything in our bodies, then we'd end up like a robot, like C-3PO from Star Wars. And then we really would be plastic, just like John and Joanna. Now, you might think that that's science fiction and it won't actually happen. Well, you don't have to be a professor of robotic engineering to have bits of metal or plastic in your body. If your gran's had a hip replacement, she'll have an artificial hip that looks a bit like this inside her leg. And these artificial hips are much stronger than bone, than the usual bone joint that we all have. And over the next few years, quite a few metal and plastic devices will be implanted in our bodies to make them work better. And medicine is developing new devices, artificial devices, all the time. But how far should we go? Now, some people, called transhumanists, will say that if we put the thoughts from our brains as electrical signals into a robot, then we wouldn't need our human bodies at all anymore. And we could live life as a robot, as a plastic person, just like John and Joanna. And then they say life would be perfect because our body would be much stronger and better than the bodies we've got now. And what's more, we'll be able to live forever. Which we can't do at the moment. Wow, sounds great. So, what's the catch? Well, there are 3 problems with being a plastic person rather than being a human being like we are. First, it's about being unique as a person. We know from our Christian values that God made each one of us unique, with different faces, fingerprints, talents and personalities. And much of our uniqueness comes from the bodies that we've got. So If you became a plastic person, you wouldn't be, well, you anymore. You'd be someone different instead. Of course, in future, a plastic body with the right electronics could be made to look and sound a lot like you, but it still wouldn't actually be you. Of course, you might want to be someone different, but, well, God made us in the first place and he knows what he's doing. So accepting ourselves as we are, faults and all, is actually quite an important part of being human. Secondly, it's about having a body. As I've said, our uniqueness as people, our skills, personalities, abilities come largely from the body that we have. Unlike transhumanists, and actually some scientists, Christians believe that human beings are more than just their thoughts, and more than just the information in their brains. If you don't think that's right, then I suggest you try and have a game of football with your laptop or your mobile phone. Yes, mobile phone, I'm talking to you right now. Because you'll soon find out that your laptop or your phone might know the rules, but it can't play the game. And many of the good things that we enjoy about being human are because we have a body. We can't enjoy a nice dinner without a body to eat it with. We can't play the games and sports we enjoy without a body to do it with. And although the human body has its faults and can go wrong, it's good enough for God because God became a human being with a body as Jesus. So God likes bodies too. And thirdly, it's about having a good purpose in life. Now, hopefully we all want to have purpose in life and do good things in our lives following our Christian values, treating people kindly, helping people, being fair to one another. And I'm sure that you all have hopes for what you want from life as you grow up, whether you'll get married and have children, what job you'll do. So, will being a plastic person, like John or Joanna, help us live a good life? Well, not necessarily. You could say that if you have robotic powers, you could use them to help people in trouble. But actually, only if you wanted to in the first place. Some criminals might want to have a gun fitted to that arm so they could rob banks a bit quicker. It's not about whether you've got a robotic arm or not. It's about how you live your life with a robotic arm if you have one. So we can do a lot of good things with our human bodies. But of course, as human beings, we get old and we die. And that's very sad. And especially if you have lost someone that you love recently, or maybe a family member. So it's not very easy to think about. So let's think instead about living forever, like our plastic friends, John and Joanna. Actually, if you think about it, living forever isn't quite as good as it seems. If more people lived forever, then we would need more jobs for people to do and more money to pay them with. And if people live forever, they'd do the same job forever as well, and nothing much would change in the world. The thing is, sometimes change is a good thing. We'd lose our sense of purpose in life and wouldn't get things done. After all, why do anything today if you could do it tomorrow or the day after or maybe forever? And in fact, some philosophers believe that if we live forever, ever, we get so bored that we go mad. So, I think on balance, I'd rather be human in this world and live a good life in the body I've got, and then go to be with Jesus and live forever in heaven when I die. Of course, as I get older, I might appreciate the odd robotic limb just to make life a bit easier. Perhaps a robotic arm would actually come in quite handy. But I really don't think I want to be a plastic person like John or Joanna, and maybe you don't want to be either. Anyway, thanks for watching, and if you've got any questions, please do ask your teacher. Thank you.